I was born in 2020, the year a pandemic ravaged the earth. But that wasn't the only thing that changed our world. Fires burn rampant, destroying our trees. Our crops failed. I had nothing to eat. Water, a deluge, washed away my home. The sweltering heat sapped away at my bones. Yet not a trickle of water to call my own. I wish I had a voice to tell you, make you see my plight. We need you to act before we fade into the night. Every moment you waste makes our world harder to restore. But I don't have a voice yet, or you would hear me roar. It's time you stepped up to save our world.
The future for children already suffering the worst impacts of climate change is looking increasingly dire. And many low and middle income countries will continue to bear the brunt of the worsening climate crisis unless we limit warming to a maximum of 1.5 degrees by making changes to how we consume energy and increasing our commitments to climate finance in recognition that the climate crisis is a child rights issue that affects children first and worst. We also need to establish child-friendly mechanisms and platforms to facilitate children's formal engagement in climate policymaking and scale up on social protection systems to address the harmful impacts of climate shocks on children and their families. The time for ambitious action on the climate crisis is now. That is why Save the Children is scaling up support for children and their families to adapt to the impacts of climate crisis through anticipatory action programs, climate adaptation initiatives, and youth-led advocacy efforts. In countries like Somalia and Kenya, we have been piloting programs that use data-based forecasting technology to help households anticipate agricultural conditions and act earlier to protect their livelihoods and food consumption in times of crisis. And thanks to our Green Climate Fund accreditation, a financing mechanism that helps developing countries adapt to climate change, we are uniquely positioned to co-develop some of the world's largest locally led climate adaptation, food security, and climate health initiatives in the world. Finally, through our youth-led advocacy groups, youth groups in Asia have already tackled issues like air pollution and waste management, increasing community awareness, changing behaviors, and influencing government policy. Save the Children will continue to tackle the challenges posed by climate change in the lives of children and their families across the globe. Join us now. There is no time to waste.